Okay, it's a great honor for me to be the part of this distinguished organization. My name is Murat Necip Arman from Aynan Mendes University Department of International Relations. And let me take my glasses. Okay. My topic is state capture as a hurdle to the growth of liberal democracy in the Western Balkans. Yeah. So many of you may know that Western Balkans are in the path of the European Union integration process since 2003, the Saloniki Summit, and also their progress to be official candidate or making full membership negotiations, and also to be a full member have many obstacles. And European Union tries to create a liberal democratic form in all those countries, but there are some obstacles, some hurdles. So when we skim at the area, the Western Balkans area, we cannot see the norms of the liberal democracy. Of course, there are a lot of reasons that these countries cannot create a liberal democratic system, but state capture is one of them. So in my presentation, I will try to explain, first of all, what I mean by the word. Oops, okay. Where is it? Right. Yeah, sorry. Yes, nerede kalmıştık? Okay, first of all, I will try to examine what I mean with the word state capture. And also, I want to show some graphs to you about the position of all these Western Balkan states in the list of state capture, and also the other issues which are related with the state capture. First of all, let's try to define the phenomenon of state capture. Let me read it from here. State capture refers to phenomenon where powerful individuals or groups manipulate state institutions and policies for their own interest at the expense of the broader public interest. Okay, when we skim at the region, but what is the Western Balkans, first of all? Western Balkans is the region, firstly, the states which have been independent after the dissolution of Yugoslavia, plus Albania. Okay, so these countries are Croatia, Slovenia, Albania, Kosovo, North Macedonia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro. Two of them, Slovenia and Croatia, have been a full member of the European Union in 2004 and 2030, but the others are on the gate of the European Union. And when we skim, especially after the 2008 global economic crisis, some stabilicratic leaders are capturing to their own states. Stabilicratic, what I mean with the word stabilicratic, let me show from here. Stabilicracy. Okay, stabilicracy is a term which is used to identify the systems which European Union looks tolerantly in order to stop the Russian aggression. Okay, so in the Western Balkan countries, some leaders are corrupt leaders. Vučić is a corrupt leader. Đukanović is a corrupt leader. Hashim Taci in the past was a corrupt leader. But why do the European Union tolerate all these corrupt leaders? Because European Union fears from the Russian aggression and fears from their attitude to be more closer to the Russian Federation. So all these leaders are using this area for their own interest and capturing their own states with some firms. Not uniquely, they are capturing their states by some firms, some businessmen, or some security forces, and etc. In the common understanding, you may see from here, corruption is often referred to either as a bribery practice, as a major embezzlement, plundering, or public monies. The former type of bribery is usually called administrative or petty corruption, and later is grand corruption. And it is a global problem, not a problem which relates to Western Balkans, for example, in African countries, for example, in Caucasian states, for example, in Middle Asian countries, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, especially in Azerbaijan, is a typical captured state, and their leaders are also the stablocratic leaders. Okay, when it occurs, state capture occurs when the ruling elites and powerful businessmen manipulate policy formation and influence the emerging of rules of game. What's game? Including laws and including economic regulations in their own advantage. Okay, and state capture can be further redefined by distinguishing between types of institutions. For example, the capturers or the stablocrats starts to control the legislative, starts to control the executive, starts to control the judiciary and other regulatory agencies, public works, ministries, the public institutions, and also to the money, of course. And these types of actors actively seeking to capture the firms, the political leaders, mainly the opposition leaders, and high-ranking officials and the interest groups in their own states. Okay, so madem ki süremiz kısa, the first, when we skim at the state capture literature, the state capture has intervened to political science by the South Africa works, and Gupta family, who is ruling the South African state for decades, are capturing this state, have been controlling the judiciary, have been controlling the executive or the administrative bodies, and also the money flow. So the South African state had been a captured state for many decades. But when we come after 2010s, we may see some similar examples in all over the world. For example, in Donald Trump in the United States of America tried to capture the state. It is not impossible in the liberal democracy, of course, to control all the state, but Donald Trump and his firms tried to capture the state. In Hungary, Orban, in Russia, Vladimir Putin, also the ones who captured their old states. Yes, let's see from here, first of all, if you want to identify the state capture, what should we look upon? Let me show you. Gerçi görüyorsunuz buradan ama benim de görmem için. Okay, in here. Şöyle gitsem acaba sorun olur mu? Ulaşır değil mi? Okay. When we hiç sorun değil. When we identify the state captured network, first of all, the political elites coverage and influence the state. Then business and the cover the state, judicial and security services are also intervened to this circle. And lastly, organized crime, for example, drug trafficking. In all states, the drug trafficking or illegal weapon trafficking is a very distinctive feature of the state capture network. Yes, so when we come to our region, Western Balkans, we may measure the state capture How will we understand this graph? In this graph, shortly, Serbia and Montenegro are vulnerable to state capture, but they also in a path to be of normalizing. North Macedonia and Kosovo are better from Bosnia and Herzegovina and Kosovo, but Albania is the worst country in state capture. As you know, the Albanian prime minister is a typical Stablokrat, and also he rules for state for 18 years. Okay, for 18 years. Okay, of course, the state capture is affecting to the democracy scores of the region, Western Balkans. You may see Serbia is at the top, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, and Kosovo is at the least. But Kosovo is in a path to increase the path of the democracy score in all over the world. And of course, rule of law in the Western Balkans is mostly being affected from the state capture issues. You may see the progress of Albania is not good. Bosnia-Herzegovina is not good. Kosovo is on the path of being a more democratical country under the lens of the rule of law indexes. Montenegro is in a path of being a liberal democracy. North Macedonia is not good, and Serbia is not good under the lens of the rule of law in the Western Balkans. Okay, so another graphic about state capture is police cooperation fight against organized crime. Why? Because I said that the Stablokrats, all the Stablokrats in the world are efforting for some illegal trafficking, and they also control the police and the judiciary in their own states. And the graph of the police cooperation and the fights against organized crime is not very good in all over the region. Okay, so what are our conclusions? We may say that state capture has significantly impacted to the development of liberal democracy in the region. Yes, that's our first conclusion. And also this issue prevents the increase of these states on the path of the European Union integration process. And state-captured institutions by powerful individuals or groups has eroded the rule of law, weakened democratic institutions, and hindered the progress toward the European Union accession of all these countries. But there are some good news which we may be hopeful of preventing the state capture in all over the world. For example, Ramush Haradinaj in Kosovo and also Hashim Taci are not in power now. Albin Kurti and his party, Vete Bondasya in English means in Turkish yani nasıl diyeceğiz? Self-determination. Böyle değil, self-determination. And they came to power and started to increase the progress of the Kosovo state. In Bosnia-Herzegovina, Bakir Izetbegovic, son of Alija Izetbegovic, is a typical corrupt leader, was a typical corrupt leader. But after the latest elections, Bakir Izetbegovic could not be the representative of the Bosnian community in the Bosnia and Herzegovina. So his position may be an advantage for the democratic progress of the Bosnia and Herzegovina. And yeah. Okay. Đukanović, as you know, Đukanović came to power at 1990, and he ruled for state for more than 3 decades. And after the last elections, Đukanović was unsuccessful, and also his party could not get the majority in the Montenegrin parliament. So all these new developments may be an may be hopeful for us for the end of the stablecratic regimes and the state capture in the Western Balkans. Thank you very much for your listening.